Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Ramie and Jessica, so good to see you. And Jessica,
Yay.
how was your week?
Let's see, today's Friday. And so my week's been busy. I went back home to Kansas City last week and spent about 6 days at home, nonstop, go, go, go. So then I make the drive like in 12 to 13 hours, but I did it over 2 days. So got back to South Dakota Tuesday night. Literally, as I was pulling into the place I'm staying, it was starting to snow just a little bit. And the next morning, I woke up and had to drive to work at the hospital at 6, and it was like 6 inches of snow out there.
Wow.
That happened fast. And then it continued to snow. And I know now Kansas City area is getting it as well, or you guys where you're at. So it's beautiful. I love the snow. I'm on a hill though, where I'm staying, and so last night when I was coming home, I had a few close calls with driving, and that was pretty. Tried not to be scared, I'm like, whatever's going to happen is going to happen, but I may end up sliding backwards, sideways down a hill into oncoming traffic. So
Wow.
it didn't happen. And I slowly made my way, skidding and going side to side, and got in the ditch a couple times, or not a ditch, but where the side of the road is all filled with snow, but made it. Whoo. So today's my
Reminds
first
me of,
day to rest.
oh, good. Ah, yeah. The snow reminded me of, I grew up in the country and it was like, a lot of the roads were dirt roads around and you'd have to kind of gun it to get through the mud or the snow and
Oh
kind of
my goodness.
get
Yeah.
a early start on the run through, right?
Oh my goodness.
And a lot of times a standard like a shift in your
Stick
car,
shift.
real yeah, standard transmission helped a lot because you could gear it down and go a little harder. It was harder to like get stuck down in it.
Huh.
It was
Didn't think
always a
about that.
challenge. But it was a fun challenge. You didn't know if you'd get stuck or not, but it was kind of like you made it through, and hey, I'm good. Made you feel good. Yeah.
Exciting. Yeah. But
Oh,
I love the
yeah.
snow. I love being up in South Dakota. It's beautiful up here, and I'm very thankful. This morning I went out, there was no sun. It was all clouded over, but I just stood out there and got my face where it looked at where the sun would be. Did that, got my outside time, and then the sun came out a little bit ago. So I ran back out there and got some actual sun. Because being in the hospital for 2 days, 13 hours each day, and it my eyes start straining and my head starts, I can feel strain. It's not like a headache, but it's strain. I don't know about you guys if you have experienced like from all the artificial light and computers and all that stuff. I crave the natural light, the outdoors,
Mhm.
and I tell all my clients that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to get outside and get sunshine on our face. So very
Yeah, for
important.
sure. It is harder to do when it's cold too. Like today, it was as high of 29 or 30, which is like right now in the afternoon, and with a pretty stiff north wind, so it's hard to get out very long. So I've just been doing it long enough to take the dog in and out when I need it to. But
I've got you beat. It's 11 degrees here.
ooh, er,
What it says. So
You're
er,
colder than Minnesota.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
mm,
My daughter's in Minnesota. She said it was 20 something.
20 something. Okay.
mhm, yeah.
Just bundle
So
up.
Ramie, yeah, Ramie, how was your week?
My week was good. I can't remember what I did, but let's see. My first appointment canceled, but I noticed a pattern. She first booked an hour session, and then she booked a half-hour session, and then she canceled. So I'm going to rewrite her. I'm going to write her back and tell her I think she's nervous. Most people are, first time. And then I've had some other inquiries. And then my normal yoga student canceled, but I have him conditioned to pay me whether he shows up or not. Because he cancels quite a bit. He's young and he knows the program, but I'm sure he went to the parade and indulged. He's young. The parade, we can talk about it. It was a beautiful day. I mean, it was just gorgeous. And then to find out that these two juveniles who weren't even dressed in red, they were wearing black, and they brought that big old gun rifle. What were they thinking? They're thinking they're going to get in trouble. And that's exactly what happened. One person is dead and 22 injured.
That was in Kansas City for the Super Bowl parade?
Right at the parade, right at the up front and center. And you know what is maybe surprising is Kansas City had all their police force out. They even had other policemen from Kansas and surrounding areas. It makes you wonder. It doesn't matter, because when the guy has an intention to get into a fight and then kill someone, it's stronger than I don't know. It's a horrible urge.
Hey,
so
I have a question about that. Is with hypnotism, right?
Mhm.
Because we hear whenever it happens, about gunmen or going into churches or public places or wherever, right? And sometimes it really seems like those things never really did happen the way they said it was, but others did, and people were hurt. But so in the case when things really did happen, then do you think it's possible that those people were like hypnotized or something? Not right then, of course, but at an earlier time, and those thoughts implanted in them, and some
MK
cue
Ultra?
or whatever. Yeah, like MK Ultra.
Yeah,
And
that's what
do
I
you
think.
think that do you think that
Well,
happens on a common level? I mean, or of course it wouldn't be just common people programming. It would still be, them, whoever
well,
they are at the time.
yeah. So I question that, because I think we're all hypnotized to a degree. I mean, they have control over us in so many ways. They're trying to poison us. They're trying to put food in our filters in our food. It's a sort of hypnosis, so they could be in power. Do I think these young people are hypnotized to be evil? I don't know. I don't know a hypnotist that would do that. I mean, ethically, right? I mean,
Oh, well,
morally,
of course not. Of course
of
not.
course not.
It would have to be someone who was part of the
Right.
team of I'll just use the term hierarchical leadership of whatever form it was, that the hierarchical mindset of manipulation and control and coercion, right?
Yeah, well, that's
That
possible. But what I do like,
was
what
in
they are
charge.
doing to this other couple, I guess their kid shot someone. They're starting to question the parents, and I like that, because if your child is a minor and he has a rifle, automatic, semi, how did he get it? He's a minor. What are parents paying attention to? That's my question. Are these kids, I mean, kids are isolated now, especially if they have their own room, their own computer. They can just be in their room and lock up and do whatever they like, I think it started with the Colorado shooting back 20 some years ago. They found that those kids were in their rooms, isolated, planning this school shooting. I mean, that would tip off most people and go, what are we doing what are the children doing? Why are they isolated in a room 12 hours on a computer and you don't know about it, you know? So they're questioning these parents, the last shooting. And I find that interesting because the parents claim they didn't know anything about their child being vindictive and thinking evil thoughts. And you wouldn't.
Right.
Right. So we have to do something. We really do. These, saying our prayers and thoughts are out with you isn't enough. I have no answer. I have no idea why these children are acting like that. I mean, it's a serious issue. I wish we could find a way, and maybe investigating parents is the way to start, because it seems logical that you would know what your kid is doing, right? I mean, I would think.
Yeah, it's a hard one because I mean that's the how you parent these days, you know, they have their own cell phones. So are they doing anything evil necessarily? They're just parenting. So, and it's just how things are. So I think that's more of a moral type thing. And you can't control people's, morals or beliefs, and you're not going to change, society's views on, okay, after this shooting, now everyone's going to have family dinners, cell phones get put down at a certain, you can't, that's not going to happen. But yeah, I think just each of us elevating ourselves and raising our own frequency. I've given up faith in all systems and governmental agencies. So
I'm going to interrupt here. Ramie, could you look down on your settings bar, and click the settings and then click audio, and be sure your echo cancellation is pushed. I hear an echo when you talk.
Okay. Audio. Okay. Echo cancellation. You want me to click it?
Yes, please.
It is clicked.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
That's fine then. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah.
Oh, no worries. Well, we got to start somewhere. I don't know where. I mean, I number one, how do these children get these rifles? That's a good question. Was it his father's? Was it, I hope they find a way. I really do, because it's right here in our backyard or our front yard. It's sad. And I don't, it makes me wonder if we should even have parades anymore. I mean, it was a family event. It was a beautiful day and celebrating, and yeah. Anyway, so, but and then last night I went to my old boss's shop at the wellness center, and I helped him pack up. And then today we were going to do some more, but he sent an email and said it was too slick and too wet to move, so we'll do it next week. Yeah, but I had packed the break room. Have you ever been in there, Jessica?
Yeah, I was in there.
Yeah, so every dish had to be packed, and I know. And I came home, I was so tired, and Jeff goes, "Well, you're just using different muscles," and I went, "Yeah." I was so tired. All I did was stand and pack. I don't know. But yeah, that's what I did. So here I am. It's Friday and ready for the weekend. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah.
Oh, very nice. Yeah. Well, I had a good week too. Wednesday especially was very nice. I took the pup out into the country, and we let her off the leash and let her run. So that was fun. And then I have a friend who was co-hosting a tapping session for increasing your self-love, or really specifically to be your own Valentine tapping session on Valentine's afternoon. So It was fun. I made it back to the house in time to join her tapping session. And, I have to admit, I haven't been a fan of tapping. I know I do not doubt its effectiveness. I know it is because so many people use it. What I don't care for in the past, anyway, is that the longer I do it, the more irritated I get. And,
Oh.
and, touching myself of continually doing this. But I have to say this time I did not have that. I enjoyed it a lot. So I'm hoping perhaps my perspective or my energy or emotional limitations are increasing, or so that I can enjoy uh, that. I don't, but it was very nice. And um, it brought up some really, really deep emotion
Well,
that
it sounded like you cleared your anxiety. Whatever you were getting irritated about, it sounded like you cleared it. That's why you weren't bothered by it anymore.
oh, well, that's nice. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
The deep emotions that came up was they were doing kind of a visualization before the tapping, or they were doing the initial tapping where you just start on your hand, right? And they were
Right.
um, having you look at someone who you love, right? And feeling that love for that someone, and then pretend as if a full-length mirror dropped in front of them, so suddenly you were looking at yourself, right? And then to notice those feelings. And it was powerful because to me, um, it may go back to gestation or ancestral um, things that have happened, but for sure for me it went back to pre-anorexia days, and where I loathed myself and I hated how I looked, right? I hated how I looked in the mirror, and that initial drop of that mirror in front, it was like I was recoiling, hating it, hating how I looked, right? Which was um which was really good then to work through stuff and try to clear more on that very important thing. I feel that over the past few years, my self-love has greatly increased, and in general, I really do feel a lot of self-love, but that really, really deep stuff. And it kept me up at night. It was that night. It was like I woke up and consciously there was another. Um, temporary decision making type situation that was in my head of something I would need to make a decision on the next day, and that was in. But once I was able to clear that, like instead of tapping, I like to use Psych-K. It's called, where you cross your ankles and cross your hands, and you just sit, and then you say a positive affirmation that is opposite of the negative uh, feelings you're having, right? And then you clear it in a different movement after you set it in, I should say, after it clears. But anyway, so I like to use that, and once I had used that for that conscious stuff, then the subconscious of that lack of self-love came up again, and that, I'm laying there in bed, not sleeping for hours. It seemed like working on this until I was able to uh, find just the right phrase. Because sometimes, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I recognize a feeling or a pattern, and other times it takes a while before you can actually pinpoint the exact emotion or the exact thought pattern you're working on. At least it does for me. And so it took me a while of trial and error of trying out positive affirmations to see if because I can feel in my body the reaction in my body of whether that's the one that's going to be effective against this or not. And so I finally found the simplest one. It would have been nice if I started with then I would have got more sleep, but I started with the affirmation of, I love the person, I love myself when I look in the mirror. And even then it took a long time to clear, but it did finally. So that was really great.
Well, good. I'm
So
glad you liked it. Yeah. Tapping is really powerful. A lot of people just won't do it, because I teach it all the time. I don't know why, but it is effective. Yeah. Well, it just, speaking of that, the tapping summit is coming on. They have it every
okay.
year, and it's free, and they have like 10 days of tapping all day long. And they have like 30, 40 practitioners. And so they have a schedule from morning to night, and you can pick whatever topic you want to tap on. And it's from A to Z. It's unbelievable what you can tap on. And you can tap with them. And you can do that every day for 10 days. And if you want to buy the summit, you can to keep. But it's coming up. I just signed up again pretty soon. So it's pretty incredible.
So Ramie, do you teach tapping, or do you use tapping in your client work?
I
Okay.
do because it works, and
It does.
I like it. I don't use it all the time because I have so many tools. I have so many, but tapping does work. It looks funny, but it's okay. You're home alone. I mean, who cares, right? I use it a lot for sleep. And sometimes I don't even do the whole routine. Sometimes I just do the head, like back here, back of the head, and then back up top, and then the sides, and just my face usually when I'm in bed. But if I have something really bothering me, I will use it because I really do believe we do have stuck emotions in our body.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you don't even know you have them until you start tapping, and then you realize, oh, this is something's coming up, right? And you're thinking, wow, I thought I cleared that. I mean, that was 100
Yeah.
years ago, I have issues with my weight because I would always go up and down, up and down. And when I tap on my weight, I will bring up those old emotions of, oh gosh, shame. I didn't like the way I looked. I didn't like the way I felt. I felt like I could hide, but you can't hide. And it was like, whoa, and my tears are running down my eyes, and I'm just so grateful that I could tap into my feelings. And then the tapping will subside, and then I know I'm pretty clear for that day. Yeah, I do like tapping. I do. And you don't have to do the whole the whole program. You could just tap on wherever you think. I like this one, the high heart. And then this one here, I use both my hands right here because it's right where the bra. And I think it's the mammaries, the breasts. There's something there that makes sense to me that we would store emotions there. And then I use the wrists. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I get it. I like it. I offer it to my clients, and we'll tap together, and it's good. But it's one of those things where you can only suggest, and you'll have to figure that out on your own if you want to. But it's really good for pain and craving. And if you want to,
I was going to say, in some ways, just the physical aspect of it alone, of doing something, is kind of like, say, chewing gum as a distraction instead of to help you stop eating. When you finish your meal, then a piece of gum or something can help you. get away from that urge until you get on to doing different things, right? That's a distraction
Yeah.
almost. Mhm.
And there's a
Had an
practitioner.
interrupt.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's all right. There's a practitioner that if you have like severe cravings, if you really want to quit sugar, mostly cigarettes, but in your hand, I think it's between the right here, this right middle finger, the little pinky right there. If you could, right there.
Mhm.
And if you tap on that, and if you say, I really, really want a cigarette, and look down to the left, come back, look down to the right, come back, and just keep tapping and then release, and your cravings are gone. It's really, I like it, especially well, I don't have, like anything you really, really want, you don't want it. I mean, it's a habit, yeah. But there's all kinds of um, added on traditional Chinese medicine that the normal tapping doesn't do. There's many practitioners who do this, who I mean, they just expand it because it is traditional Chinese medicine and it's all doing with our meridians, because we store
Right.
our emotions there. So yeah, I recommend it. And I don't always use it, but boy, do I use it when it's, especially when that initial, it's good for shock too. When you get that phone call or it's very upsetting and I'll just type and oh, this one's a big one. Oh, I didn't need to hear that. Oh my God. Just because here's what happened. My daughter went to the parade with her friend. She loves parades, always has. And she's a grown woman. I know that. But after the shooting, I called her. No answer. And I told her, there's a shooting. Just let me know you're okay. She knows how I am. And no answer, and no answer. And I thought, oh my God. Luckily, I had the kid's number that she was with. And so I called, and they were okay. But just that anxiety. And so I started tapping, hope it's not anyone, hope it's not my daughter. But what had happened, she came home that night, she said, I don't know where my phone is. Oh, and she left it in her room. So thank God I had his number. I would have, I don't know what I would have been beside myself, just thinking, the monkey mind, where is she? Because I know she would answer if I told, just because I said there's a shooting, let me know you're all right. And that's all. I mean, I don't need any more information, but anyway, but I resorted to tapping because I don't need to lose my mind over worry because I have nothing to worry about yet. Yeah.
One thing that I always figured is no news is good news.
Right.
So like as a single mom, but it could be any parent, when my boys were out late at night and I didn't hear from them or whatever, it was like, well, I would go ahead and go to bed because I figured, well, I know they'll call me or eventually I'll be called if something happens, and I couldn't do anything about it anyway. And so I'll always be able to handle the situation better if I got some sleep instead of none. So I don't. Thankfully, I thank the spirit that I was able to go to sleep each time and not. But you were talking about energy, or the stuck emotions in your body. One thing I found very effective for clearing um, love or forgiveness related energies, because they're on the back of your heart and shoulders area. That's where I find them in receiving love. Of course, you'd probably find them on your front too, but I take 2 tennis balls and I called it, in athletics, it was called the bridge exercise, where your feet are on the floor, your knees are in the air, and then your shoulders are on the ground, so you form this slanted bridge here with your body, and it's like a core building exercise. And I put the tennis balls, say if that's how you are with your knees down, I put the tennis balls, start them under my neck or shoulders, and then I gradually roll my body down on them. But so when it's under the heart stuff, then I kind of work them around and I roll them down either side of the spine, from the C1 to my tailbone. But when I'm working in that shoulder area, you lean into the pain, like if it comes on a spot that's sore or painful, then you push into it as much as you can tolerate without a lot of pain and stuff. And the emotions for me just flood in because they're stuck there because of emotions, right? Or it eventually chronic pain, things on my shoulder that I had for a long time, they cleared when I was able to push into that tennis ball and start crying, right? Because it released that emotion that was stuck in the muscles or whatever cells it was stuck in. So, Jessica, do you have anything like that you use, or tapping? Do you use tapping?
I've used tapping, yes. I've used it for heart racing. That may or may not have been from anxiety, but when I was having hypothyroid issues as well. So it really helped for that. So yeah, I liked the tapping. I've done the tennis balls. I need to get them again. I'm not getting regular massages right now. That's special for me. I just, human touch is so important. So I appreciate massages, but since I'm not getting them regularly right now, I probably need to, in fact, I'm feeling it. I need to do something myself. But yeah, I agree. There's so many ways to release emotions, and some can be from, just things we do with our mind. It's so interesting, because some things you can just do with your mind and with your thoughts. And then other things, it is more of a physical manipulation type thing. Because I know I've seen so many people, work on people's bodies and be able to release emotions, and the people cry and sob and, let a lot of stuff out. And then I've been interested in the past few years in the Maori healers, the indigenous people from New Zealand who are trained on that, and they work on your body and get rid of all kinds of stuff. So I think they're coming back to the United States now since all the restrictions and different things from COVID. But I thought that was, so yeah, there's different ways, but yeah, I've used the tennis balls mostly when I was having back issues. So it was for that. But I'm a firm believer in the massage and reflexology and craniosacral work. So yeah, it just depends on if you do it to yourself or if someone else does it to you, different ways to do it. And then of course, as we were talking about earlier, just talking through things too, and using different mind techniques, hypnosis, different things like that to work through the emotions. Quantum time technique is something that I've learned to use now too, and that's very interesting. So lots of, and Ramie can talk to all those too. Mapping across, swish method, which she did a couple weeks ago or last week, I can't remember. So all good stuff.
Yeah, I wonder, at least for me, that some of those things, or perhaps all of the things that you could use for that pattern change and the release of the emotions, a lot of times there are certain ones I use all the time, but others, say like massage. I love massages. But for some reason, and I should say in the location I am now, it's not real convenient to be in a place at the time I need to be to get in the schedule to get one. But
Yeah.
I have one set up for Monday for the first time in, I have to admit, 2 years. So
Oh my
it's
goodness.
real. I know it's bad, right? but I'm finally doing it. I was talking to someone that I asked them to help hold me accountable to actually get one scheduled and do. And but I think it in many ways, like I had promised myself to do it. Well, I'll do it. I'll schedule one as soon as I give my book to the publisher, or to the company I was working with for self-publishing. And then I didn't. So I said, well, I would schedule it then when it was released, and I didn't. And I would schedule it when, and schedule it when, and um, it has to be related to the lack of self-love. I mean, um,
Oh,
often money is a consideration if it's not in the purchase plan for that month, and there's other
yeah.
things that I choose to spend it on instead. But like say chiropractic, I go to chiropractic regularly, once or twice a month, because to me, um, that is an instant release that really works for me. And
Yeah.
it's easy to get into that schedule, to the
Yeah.
chiropractor schedule that I use. But what I really like to do, and in several times in my life, I've done it. So once a month, first schedule a massage, and then I schedule the chiropractic right afterwards.
Okay.
And it's a beautiful routine that I love to do both of those right after the other once a month. That it just
Yeah.
really is a help.
Yeah. I've actually, when I was corporate health coaching, I actually recommended people do those together. Because there was, some research or just, observations that helps. And again, I was just dealing with people in pain or chronic back or migraines or whatever. But definitely good to do those both at the same time. But yeah, and everyone's different, because you talk about chiropractic and how you do that more often. And I still need to release my fears of chiropractic. So
Uh,
because it's hurt me in the past. So I still have issues.
Sorry, I had my granddaughter's in the background. She's almost 2.5, and so anyway, there was noise in the background. So I was trying to get it quiet. So sorry for the extra noise there.
No
Um,
worries. No worries.
but yeah, well, one thing you could do with chiropractic anyway, you could to get over that fear, is to go schedule with a chiropractor who only uses I don't remember even what the name of, they use a little gadget, right? Like it's a tiny
Yeah.
little gun type thing that releases on a spiral in a certain um, pulse type of thing with a certain strength, and then they use it on different places in your body to release it. Have found that to be effective.
You
Um,
think so?
uh, yes,
Do you?
especially
Okay.
for some things. I
Okay.
like the manual manipulation. They call it better. The physical
Okay.
manipulation better. And in general, I think it's more effective for me. But there's times, especially if it's very sore, or you're looking at tiny little, muscles that are all, or
Mhm.
bones that are real close together. A lot of times, I think there's a very, very good place for those ag- agitators or adjusters or whatever they call them in that little gun
Yeah.
thing. And
Yeah.
so they can be um, they can be very effective, but that might, even if you only go once or twice for that and you don't feel that they are as effective as you had hoped, then it does serve you to get at least in the door, and to release some of the trepidation you might have
Yeah.
about the chiropractic.
Yeah.
So, just
Yeah.
in that.
Yeah. We shall see. I have they've kind of diagnosed me with like degenerative changes in my spine in a few different areas. So it just, and I stretch every day, but I mean, I do yoga, I stretch every single day, twice a day. I'm doing all the things, but I can feel the popping and the cracking and all the things. So I know there's still stuff that I mean, that's just still things I'm working on, and inflammation that obviously is still in my body that I'm very excited to release part of it once the nursing is done. You know, I know that that plays a huge part in my life, being in a hospital full time. When I don't, I appreciate being there. I've learned so much, and I love being able to help people, but that's not the avenue that I want to continue. I'll say that instead of I hate it in the hospital. It's got a different energy, right?
Well, and
So,
you'll continue to help people.
and I will
It won't
continue
be,
to help people, absolutely, in
it
different
won't be
ways.
that you miss, just
It won't
the,
be giving drugs out. Yep.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure. Hey, Ramie, I was wondering, or maybe Jessica, maybe you would like to, I don't know, but I don't know tapping well enough to lead us in a short thing. Would one of you want to lead us in a
I
short
don't,
tapping thing? Or
I would love to, but I don't have the, I follow other people when I do it. So, and I haven't done it probably a year. So I have to follow, their lead on which spots to tap and what to say. And I've thought about making my own up and using scripture, actually, different scripture verses for
Mhm.
Christians for tapping. But yeah, that's not my my area of expertise yet.
Right.
Um,
So, Ramie, would you mind?
I think she's been frozen for a while.
Oh, wow. Huh. Yeah, I just thought she was looking intently.
Nope.
Oh, no, I guess not.
Nope.
Well, shoot, I guess we'll have to um, leave that for another time then.
Yeah, that'd be
So,
good to do a
um,
tapping session with her.
yeah, it would. Maybe we can work that in next time. So I guess since Ramie's frozen and we're at a kind of a pause in our talk, we'll go ahead and end there for today. So thank you everyone for watching. We hope you can join us next week.